attempt to reach out to the Islamic Republic.
I recognize it will be hard to overcome decades of mistrust, but we will proceed with courage, rectitude, and resolve. There will be many issues to discuss between our two countries, and we are willing to move forward without preconditions on the basis of mutual respect.
It is important to know also that we will not ease our campaign to stop Iran's malevolent influence and actions against this region in the world. The nations of the Middle East will never enjoy security, achieve economic stability, or advance the dreams of their people if Iran's revolutionary regime persists on its current course.
Mike Pompeo there in Cairo. For more on these opposing views of U.S. foreign policy, we're joined now by former Democratic Congresswoman Jane Harman, now president of the Woodrow Wilson Center. Jane, thanks very much for joining us. It's no surprise, particularly, that Mike Pompeo would have a different view of America's role in the Middle East of that of the Obama administration. But were you surprised that he decided to be quite so critical of the former president on foreign soil?
Yes, I was. I think the tone of the speech was unnecessary. I think mistakes were made in the Bush administration and the Obama administration, and lessons need to be learned. So I would go there with him. I also think he's a capable man. We're talking about Pompeo, who brings good skill sets to the role. But just bashing Obama, calling him another fellow or another person, not by name, I don't think is necessary. And the irony of blasting Iran for reckless behavior when we are in love with Kim Jong-un in North Korea is not lost on me.
One of the other things he said about Iran was that under the Trump administration, the determination was to get every last Iranian boot out of Syria. Do you think that is something this administration can achieve?
No. I think that most people in this administration, certainly including the National Security Advisor, Bolton, disagreed with the decision to leave Syria in 30 days. Fortunately, that decision has been walked back, but I'm told by someone inside that it's maybe been walked back to 4 to 6 months, not to forever. But that was one of our most efficient activities in the Middle East. We had 2,000 military advisors counseling a force, a very capable force, the SDF, of 60,000 Syrians, including Kurds. And they were effectively going after ISIS. And if we take us out and they are hobbled or destroyed by the Turks coming in, that leaves a playground for the Iranians and the Russians and for the ascension of the Assad regime to be the long running operational government in Syria. So I don't see how our leaving Syria is in any way a good way to get the Iranians out of Syria.
I was based in Cairo, Jane, 10 years ago when President Obama came to speak, and I remember quite clearly the hope and the enthusiasm that he engendered among the Egyptian public. I didn't see the same today, I have to say. And when you look at the last 10 years and the gross human rights violations there's been in Egypt since the Arab Spring, I think there are something like 60,000 political prisoners that are now being held in Egypt. Is it right that America doesn't refer or pays very scant detail to those kind of human rights abuses?
Well, you know, the Obama speech was wonderful. I read it too. But let's fault Obama with not following through on the speech. He held out his hand, he then diverted his attention. It didn't happen. And a point of the speech that I think was and is right is that we can't be everywhere and do everything. That was a good thing to say. But he held out his hand. We reached a deal with Iran, which was transactional, not transformational. We hoped it would be transformational. It wasn't. Walking away from that deal does not make the region safer, I would say. And as far as Egypt goes and the Arab Spring, misnamed, the Arab upheaval, I would call it, none of the governments affected by that has become a stronger and better government. And in addition to all that, we have the mayhem and the human tragedy in Yemen, in which we are, to some degree, participating. So no, I think human rights abuses are greater throughout the region. And I think failing governments are in many places in the region. And if Obama were still president, would everything be perfect? Absolutely not. But I think slamming Obama for the fact that things are imperfect is, I think, unfair.
Okay, Jane Harman, thank you very much for joining me. Briefly, Christine, listening to Jane Harman speaking there, you have to think back a long way to find an American